Shawn here with Bullyan RV, and this is the 2019 Winnebago Revel. I'm going to do a quick orientation with you, kind of go through the systems on the unit and show you what this thing is all about. First thing you see as you come into it here, you've got your main control panel here, you've got your winterizing valves, you've got a battery disconnect switch here, and this is going to be the first thing you see when you slide open this door on the Revel. Typically when you start out, you're going to turn on your battery, which is this switch right here. You'll kick on your lights, you can turn on your awning. This is fully automatic. If you hit in, it goes in. If it goes hit out, it goes out. So we'll run it in here and see it go through its full operation. Now this has a wind sensor built into it too, so if you get gusty winds that might damage the awning, it'll automatically do this for you. So there's nothing to think about, just make sure your rear door is clear and you can run in or out. You've got a couple ways on the plumbing system here to fill it with water. So if you're going to be camping off the grid, whether you got a funnel, a jug, a hose, you name it, you can fill it up. So these two labeled tank fill, one of them is going to be a pressure fill, one is going to be a gravity fill. Just keep in mind that when you are using either fill, when the tank is 100% full, a little bit of water will come out here in the rubberized footwell. That won't cause any damage, it's just a little bit of spilled water. You've got a spray port out here so you can clean off your toys, be it bikes, you name it, you can clean it off. You've got a drain here for the freshwater tank. Right now we got water on board, you flip that valve and it drains right out. And then they've got a really easy winterizing valve here. You just hook up a little supplemental piece of hose, run it into a couple gallons of antifreeze, turn your pump on and run it through the whole system. It's really as simple as that. Just drain the tank, run the antifreeze through. This has a really interesting hydronic heating system on board too that does both heat and water. That you can simply run the RV antifreeze right through it to winterize it. There's no draining or anything involved with that. Now your onboard tanks, be it both the freshwater and the gray, those are also heated by that hydronic system. So if you're going to be using this thing down in freezing temperatures, as long as you got your furnace on, that'll take care of all of that for you, so you can cold weather camp with it as well. Now outside here, kind of under the patio, you've got a nice little table that flips down, two latches on the top, and then you just screw the leg on right here. This leg is located right near the bathroom door, and you can twist it on, and then right on the bottom there's a little adjustable foot. So being that the world is never perfectly level, you can just get that so stuff doesn't roll off on you. So there you go. Now over here you've got a second countertop. This is both an extension to your counter up here, but it also doubles as a support for your bed. But I found it also makes a nice little addition to your workspace outside. So you've got countertop here and here, especially if you don't need to be running in the camper, and it stows away real quick. So it's just a nice little feature that they added. Down here as well, you've got some courtesy lights for both the awning. You've got lights for underneath the running board. With it as bright as it is out here, you know, they don't show much on the ground, but you can see them down there, just so that you can kind of see where you're going regardless the time of day. Let's see what else we got here. Intake for the heating. You got a fire extinguisher over here. Now throughout the coach too, being that this is a miniature toy hauler, you've got all these great accessory hooks. So regardless of what you can fit in here, they give you the means to tie it down. Then in various locations around, they've also got these Ram quick tracks. They're mounted underneath the counters, over by the table, underneath the kitchenette here. Whatever you want, electronics, Ram will take care of you. You can order anything custom from their website. So whether it's an iPad or a camera, you name it, you can mount it. Over here across the way on the dinette, you see two black panels. One of those is going to be your 12 volt fuses. The other is going to be your 110 volt distribution center. You can think of it just like your fuse box at home or just like the fuse box in your car. And they're They're really intuitive. They label things nicely so that if you have any problems with the electrical system, you look in there and you can take care of it in short order. Up here, you've got the passenger and the captain's chair. These are sweet because they swivel, so you can add additional seating to your camper. They got a little lever on the back. Depress that towards the center, and then just spin it around. To make it that easy, you do have to have the seat in the full forward position, both for the driver and passenger side. But this way you can seat up to 3 people really comfortably inside. So if you're entertaining a couple people, or you just want to, you know, have a place to crash after a long ride, you know, that's one way to do it. I'm going to scoot this back so we can show you the bed later. Also fold this down so it's out of our way. Let's go around the outside and look at a few of the features out here before we step in. Now, of course, it's got the great Mercedes, so really fuel efficient. I know I saw on this one, you're getting about 16 miles per gallon with it. So as far as motorhomes go, that's fantastic. In addition, you've got these really knobby tires, so I mean, with this new 4-wheel drive Sprinter chassis, anywhere you want to go off-road, you can do it. It also has hill descent control, so if you want to, you know, set your cruise speed if you're going down a steep hill, just like setting your cruise control, you can set a descent speed and it'll safely take you down that hill. So any off-road task, I mean, you can get there with this thing. So just a quick view, standard Sprinter chassis. So you've got the cabin here, you've got your heads-up unit. You can sync your phone with it. Right up above to the right of the steering wheel, in this little cubby here, there's a USB and a 3.5mm port. That way you can hook up your GPS or your phone or any accessories you might want to add to the system. Down to the lower left of the steering wheel, there's a little button there called battery boost. That is just like jump starting your batteries. So I mean, if you accidentally forgot your lights on, you can use the 6-month or 18 batteries to jump start your coach. Right here you've got your ladder. Typically this stows on the back, but you can hang it anywhere on this great rack system. They've used it to mount some solar panels up there, which you can see. Also you can put kayak racks up there. Really any rack mounted accessory. Now on this side of the unit, we've got a city water connection. This is just going to be for pressurized water. So if you do find yourself at a location where you have a spigot you can hook up to, as long as it's under 50 psi, or if you got that water pressure regulator on there, you can hook directly up to your hose, and that'll provide, you know, basically an endless supply of water to your whole system. The door right next to it, this has a nice cartridge toilet. Now in here, this is basically your Blackwater tank. It's really easy to manage. You just push this blue lever here and out comes your tank. Now you got a spigot here, unscrew that, and then you've got a little button back here you push. So you unscrew this, hold the button, and then pour it right into the dump station. And then all you have to do is, through this same hole, put in your toilet chemical here, hold this back, and then slide the cartridge right back in, and you're good to go. It snaps shut, and you can also lock it in case you're concerned about, you know, anybody tampering with it. Right down here, you've got your gray tank connection. This looks just like your standard sewer connection on any RV. You got a blade valve here that the handle pulls straight out, and then the cap just unscrews. There'll be a little bit of water behind here, but being it's gray water, you know, you don't really have to worry about it. It's just going to be from the shower and the kitchen sink. As we go back this way more, we've got a 30 amp connection. So if you got a generator, or if where you're staying has 30 amp connection, you can hook right up to that. You've got about a 30-foot cord on board. This will provide power for the electric side of that hydronic heating system, as well as your air conditioning, all your outlets. But you've also got a power inverter inside, so if you weren't able to hook up to this, you could run all those outlets and your cooktop and that stuff off that. So be it mountain bikes, dirt bikes, you name it, if you can fit it, you can store it, you can tie it down. You've got these nice little tie down rings on the floor. These just pull right out, and so whatever you want to tie down in here, it's all modular. Too far. There we go. You've got plenty of accessory outlets in here, be it 12 volt, 110. You've even got a shower on the other side that hooks up to this little garden sprayer here. Then you've got hot water and cold water to clean off any of your toys or, you know, whatnot. If you forget to turn the water on, there's a water pump switch here. Just hit it. It's all on demand. So you hit it and you got water here. You can hit a switch back here and that turns on the offside light over here. So anything you got parked over here, you got it. So back here in the garage, you got a big bag here. In this bag, they've got 3 of these great sunshades. 3 different sizes, 1 for your windshield, 2 for your passenger and driver door, and they just snap in. The side ones are magnetic. The main windshield one is held up by the sun visors, and they will pretty much block out 99% of light. I mean, it makes it really dark in there, great for sleeping, not to mention it's private. Your bed is operated on a lift system, so right now it's in its full up stowed position, and you just go inside, you hit a switch, and it runs it right down. Up there in the corner you can see kind of a vent. That's going to be one of your heat exchangers. I believe this unit has 3 throughout it. On that hydronic system, you can basically think of it as a miniature version of hot water heat in your home. And with those heat exchangers, it's just got a small fan that blows through it, and then the glycol solution that the boiler heats exchanges the heat from there. Then you can see more of those tracks over there. You've got a light switch on the wall that operates lights up above the bed here. It has 2 different settings in addition to off, so you can have it dim or bright. You have your 30 amp cord over here that I was talking about, and these cushions are just extensions of the bed. Now your doors here, you can swing these around to get them out of your way. So you just pull out on this hinge, it disengages it, and then this comes around and sticks via magnet to the side of the coach. And then this you can stow here so you don't snag anything on it. And then, so if you want to have this back area opened up, you know, that's a means to do that, whatever you want to fit. I should point out too, both your main door up front as well as this back come with screens. So the screens snap onto snaps around the whole entry here, and then right in the center you've got a big zipper, so it makes it just like a screen room. That way if it's, you know, hot out, whatnot, you can keep the bugs out, and then you can keep all that fresh air blowing through your unit. Now we're going to step inside. First thing we're going to see are all these control panels. First and foremost, you've got your solar charger here. You can see, since it's a bright sunny day, we got our panels making power for us. Right now they're charging at a rate of 3.9, 4 amps, something like that. You can see they're 1.4 amps per hour, and then our battery charge is 12.6. This is pretty much brainless. It's just information for you. It's all set up from the factory, so as long as you're in the sun, it's taking care of your batteries. Over here, this is a monitor panel. The one-place monitor has a switch for your water pump here, so you touch this button to turn the on-demand pump on. You can check your tank levels right here. You can see we've got a 3rd tank of fresh water, and then your gray tank is empty. And then you can also check your battery levels, both for your starting battery and your 6 onboard AGMs. Right here is for the Euroloft bed. So you've got a key here that turns the system on, and then there's a seat belt you can see here. This is a safety latch for the bed. You always want to have that latch so that, you know, in case somebody bumps this, the bed can't squish whatever's back here. And then you just hold this and down comes your bed. And it'll automatically stop when it hits the correct level. So you can't overextend or retract it. So right there is at the sleeping position, and you can see another one of those great mounts right there. That would be for if you had like a television or something, you could hook that right on there, fold it up underneath the bed, or whatever. I mean, it really is whatever you can imagine. We'll run this back up again, just to get it out of our way. And once that's stowed, of course, we would lock that seat belt, and then you can also remove the key so that it, you know, it isn't inadvertently moved. Now here is the guts of your heating system. This is going to allow you to heat your water. It's going to allow you to camp in cold weather. I mean, this is really an awesome fuel efficient system. With it, it pulls diesel right off of your fuel tank. With the 20 gallons available to it to use, you can get over 200 hours of heating. To turn it on, literally all you do is you hit the system, you turn on furnace, and you set your thermostat to a comfortable temp. As long as you have this turned up, it will circulate water by your tanks, and it'll keep them from freezing up. Now if you wanted hot water, you have to turn on this switch here. That turns on a circulation pump to the water heat exchanger. So with that, now it's going to heat up the water on diesel fuel. If you want to use electric to heat your water, or the coach for that matter, you turn this on. So this turns on the electric element, this turns on the diesel burner, and between the two, they'll work in unison. Now if you're off the grid, you're only going to be using diesel, but if you're plugged in or running off a generator, you can use the electric. It's totally up to you. Right here, you've got light switches for the main area. You can see they've got a high, off, and low. You've got a light switch here for underneath the dinette or the cook space. And then right here, this switch, this actually does for the bathroom, which is right in here. This is your power inverter. So when you're not plugged in like we are now, if you hit the power button here, gotta hold it a little bit longer, this will boot up, and then it'll give you power to all of your outlets and the induction cooktop over here. Now do keep in mind with this induction top, you're gonna need some special cookware, anything magnetic. They even give you a magnet in the information pack. If it sticks to it, it'll work. It's really cool though. It's really difficult to accidentally burn yourself with it. It's just, it will only heat up if you have a pan on there. So you can have this, hit the power button, I can put my hand on it, there won't be any heat. The only time that this will heat up is if there's a piece of steel sitting on top of it. Really energy efficient too. You don't have to worry about propane or anything. The only, fuel on board is the diesel fuel that runs the coach. Now they've also put this is a combination 12 volt, 110 volt fridge. So this works off both your batteries and your 110. So depending on which power source is available, this will operate off of that. You can see another heat exchanger up here, and so that glycol solution is circulating through here, and when the fans are on, this is what's going to be heating the coach as well. Like I said, there's 3 of these. This is the second one. The third one is right down below this seat here on the front face. I'm going to turn this off here. Okay, there we go. Now they've used a really nifty space-saving sink here. Has a glass top, so it's an extension of your countertop when you're not using it. And then all you do is you open it up, you flip this up, and then with this you use down is cold, up is hot, and then anywhere in between. Now this sink, being how they had to plumb it, they've actually connected this to an macerator pump. You can think of it as like a mini garbage disposal. So you will need to hold this switch here to pull the water out of the drain. They've just done that because being the tank's over there, they can't lift they gotta lift the water uphill. There we go. Now when you stow this, do keep in mind that you gotta turn this way. If it's pointed straight up, when you close the lid, it'll turn the water back on you. All your drawers and cabinets have these nice push latches so they stay locked. We've got a couple odds and ends in here. This is the hose to use to winterize it. And then they also have a little handle here. This little thing is the manual crank for the bed. So if you ever, were without power, or if the bed malfunctioned, you can remove the lower panel here, and then there's just a Allen key that you put this in and twist it up and down. So you can always get it up out of your way. All right, so we're gonna do the bed here. So the first thing you want to do for setting up the bed is drop this table down like I showed you earlier. And then we need to remove the backrest. There's 2 snaps to keep it from moving on you. So you undo those. And we're just going to set this aside. Now the only tricky part is you got to kind of fight the seat belts here. So we'll do our best to keep them out of the way. I'm going to pull that out of there next. Pull this up. This needs to stay down. I'll pull these off to the side just so they don't interfere for now. Remove this cushion as well. And then you go a complete 180 with this. Lock that in just like so. Now that's the first step of the bed. The second step is you gotta close the door here. Oh shoot, I forgot the table. Anyway, so we'll cheat. We'll put this down, and this spans here. And then if you were actually sleeping, you'd want that outside door closed, and this last cushion goes right here. And the door keeps it from falling out. And then we just go back in reverse to set it back up to a dinette again. You can see there's a little locking bar here that slides in 2 different slots here, and that keeps this cushion from sliding around on you, whether you're using it as a seat or a bed. Underneath the seat as well, that's where your hydronic heater is. Your power inverter lives under there as well as some plumbing. Right back in about this corner, there's a small turn valve. That is the adjuster. It's a mixing valve for your hot water system. You can adjust that, but do be very careful if you do. When you adjust that, it's easy to get the water too hot. Like 1/8 of a turn makes all the difference. So use that with caution, but it is in there so that you can get the best use out of your system. And then we're just going to snap this back down, so. And then I'll show you the table. So the table flips up like this, and then it's got a leaf here that flips forward. Now if the other seat was turned around, this makes a table so that one person can sit there, another person can sit here. Otherwise, if it's just set up like this, it's best to just use it like this. You've got another one of these little ram mounts here, so if you hit any device, you could hook that up there as well. Underneath the table, there's 2 spring-loaded supports. You push on both sides, and this flips back down. You have a ground fault outlet under here. Now with pretty much any camper with the ground fault, what they do is they will daisy chain all of your outlets through it. So if That way that outlet's protected, this outlet's protected, as well as the outlets in the back. So basically any visible outlet is going to be protected by that ground fault. It's a good thing to know because sometimes those trip and it'll knock out everything. So let's look here at the bathroom. I'll hide behind the door a little bit. So when you're in travel, this has some nice bamboo shelving so you can use it for storage. But when you need to use it, there is a shower around the corner here. There's a ventilation fan up here. And then there's also a shower head that goes on just a quick connect up top. I'm going to remove this bottom shelf here, just enough so that we can see the cassette toilet. Now with this, it's kind of got a nifty seat. This completely rotates, so whatever position is comfortable for you, you can rotate it, and then you've just got a blue button on the back to flush, and then this opens the main valve in the bottom. So water in the back, and then to actually flush everything, you use the lever. And this just snaps shut. And then there is also a curtain. So, you want to keep the water in if you're using the shower. Just the snap-in shower curtain. Same concept as around the doors with the screen. You can see a lot of the snaps here. That's for this side screen, and then same as up there. Last but not least, we're going to lower this bed down one more time. I'm going to show you a couple things here. So here are those screens I was talking about. Then, switch pieces here. Over on the wall, you've got a couple of reading lights. You've got a window with a day-night shade. These windows are acrylic, so you do want to be careful cleaning them. You don't want to scratch them. But they do have multiple positions, and they're an awning style window, so you can leave them open and the rain will just run off of them. And then right on the ceiling, you got your air conditioning. It can't get simpler. Just two controls. One knob for the fan speed and cool, and the other is just your thermostat. A couple of little filters up there to clean. You've got a carbon monoxide detector on the ceiling, and then that light switch over on the wall, that controls those LED strip lights up there. Right above me here, we've got a fantastic fan. Now that is going to pull all of the hot air out of here. You can hit on and it'll just pull, keep tapping on. You can change the speed. You can set it so that it comes on at 76 degrees. And yeah, I mean, they're really versatile. This has got the rain cover on it, so whether you're going 80 miles an hour down the road and pouring rain, doesn't matter. You can leave this thing wide open and it'll work for you. It's a great feature to have for, keeping it comfortable in here. Now, last but not least, I'm going to show you the acrylic window here. Just quick on the operation. We got the ladder out there, but the nice thing about these is they'll stop wherever you want. So we can just set it there and she'll sit. Now if it's really pouring out, you can actually crack these. They've got kind of an intermediate setting here, and that way there's just the slightest air gap. So if you want to keep condensation building up in here, but you still maybe even have the heat on, you can crack those open just to get a little bit of fresh air flowing through here. All right. I don't know. I think I'm out of stuff to say.